Attitude fan back again. And once again, I went to YouTube and basically just watched an old school WCW match. And once again, it's a Goldberg match. Apparently, YouTube thinks I really love Goldberg. So there's that. But we're going to go back to Spring Stampede 99, the good, the bad, the showdown. This is when Goldberg finally gets his rematch against Kevin Nash. Nash was the first one to beat him at Starrcade the previous year, which kind of led to the finger poke of doom. Feel however you want to feel about it, but that's the big match of the night. It's not the main event. The main event is actually a world title match, but this was the pre-main event. This was match number 8 out of 9 on the card. The event took place in April of '99. And like I said, it's Goldberg versus Nash. Nash comes out first, accompanied by Lex Luger and Miss Elizabeth. They're part of NWO Wolfpack, which I think at this point in time, NWO Wolfpack was basically just the NWO at this point because Hogan had rejoined thanks to the finger poke of doom. And I don't know exactly where the storyline is, but Goldberg's back, ready to whoop ass, looking for revenge on Kevin Nash. Scott Hall not there. I don't know exactly where he was. And honestly, I feel like back in the day, I feel like I almost would have been rooting for Nash in this match, but the match only takes 7 minutes. It's really quick. Nash pretty much is on the offensive end for all 5 minutes, doing a few variety of moves. It wasn't just the same move over and over. He kind of then, interference for Miss Elizabeth. Luger giving Goldberg like the worst chair shot ever. A lot of guys in WCW just had no idea how to use this steel chair. And then Goldberg gets on the offensive, does like a few punches and kicks to Nash. Nash actually leapfrogs the spear attempt, which takes the referee out, which I thought would lead to more interference, but no interference really. Just Luger kind of getting involved for a second, Miss Elizabeth kind of distracting the referee for a second. This match was a very big letdown, honestly. It was only 7 minutes long. I feel like, you've basically been leading up to the storyline now since Starrcade, which was in December. So you've been leading up to the storyline since December. And it just kind of ends in 7 minutes. I don't know. It was a big, I was expecting maybe more interference, I don't know. Goldberg, with just one loss, needs the revenge. I wonder if it was just a straight up cakewalk for Goldberg in this match and he just wins, super quick. Okay. Or if it had gone back and forth for like 20 minutes, which I know that's asking a lot for Nash and for Goldberg, but I really feel like this was the worst case scenario. I don't think it really made Goldberg look that strong because he literally just did like 3 moves, barely got Nash up for the jackhammer. Almost screwed it up, honestly. Nash was in control of the match for 85 to 90% of the time. So, obviously, I don't know what happens after this because, again, I'm done watching WCW at this point in my childhood. But there had to be a third match, I guess. But do we really want a third match? I don't know. Like I said, I think this was just the worst case scenario because if this is the end of the storyline, Goldberg didn't really, he didn't really prove that he was better than Nash. And I think this was just a very bad match, guys. Very bad match. I'm giving it, honestly, I'm probably going 1.5 stars. 1.5 out of 5. This gets 1.5 out of 5. Goldberg versus Nash at Spring Stampede 99. Yeah, just not a good match, man. And I still think Nash is really cool. He did get on the microphone at the start, of course, because, I feel like he's got to be on the mic at some point during the night. Wolfpack into house. It was basically all he said. I don't know, man. At this point in time, they needed more out of this match. You needed a lot more, but let's look at the rest of the pay-per-view. Let's see if I missed any other good matches. First match of the night, you had Juventud Guerrero beating Blitzkrieg. I definitely don't remember Blitzkrieg. I don't remember that. Bam Bam Bigelow defeating Hack, which was the Sandman, and that was a hardcore match. Chastity came out with Hack, by the way. Third match, you had Scotty Riggs defeating Mikey Whipwreck, two ECW guys going at it. Good to see Mikey Whipwreck have an appearance there. I do like that. Conan defeated Disco Inferno. That actually was probably somewhat of an entertaining match. I am confused. I guess Disco is out of the Wolfpack at this point, by the way. I know he was in the Wolfpack. I guess he's out at this point. Maybe he's in Misfits in Action at this point. Or no, who was he with? The Filthy Animals. Maybe he's with the Filthy Animals at this point. Next up, we have the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. Rey Mysterio comes into the match as the champion, leaves as the champion, probably defeats Billy Kidman. So far, this is probably the best match of the night, including the Goldberg and Nash. On paper, this is the best one. Obviously, I don't ever remember seeing it, but yeah. Next up, you had Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko in a tag team match. They come out with Arn Anderson because the Horsemen. This is when Benoit and Malenko are part of the Horsemen. They defeat Raven and Perry Saturn. That actually was probably a really great match, honestly. Lasted 14 minutes. Mysterio and Kidman lasted 15 minutes, by the way. So, yeah, I think that tag team match was actually really good. I mean, obviously, Benoit and Malenko, I don't think they're too far away from going to the WWF at this point. I think this has got to be getting pretty close to when they go to the WWF. Next, you have the United States Championship. Scott Steiner defeated Booker T. The title was vacant, so neither guy was a champion. Match lasted 16 minutes. I bet you that was a great match. I bet you this was an entertaining match. Obviously, I talked about a Scott Hall match in my last episode. I think Steiner is actually a great wrestler. I think he's a great in-ring performer. And Booker T, I go back and forth on, but with the right people, I think Booker T is great in the ring. I think his character has never really been that entertaining at all, except for the brief moment WWF where he was like a comedy act. But yeah, I mean, obviously that's a great match. And then, of course, you had Goldberg and Nash. And then the main event was a four corners match for the WCW title with Randy Savage as the special guest referee. I actually do remember this match as a kid. I don't really remember why I remember it, but I do remember this match. So obviously I did see this pay-per-view, or at least saw this match. But DDP wins. Flair came in to the match as the champion. The other two participants were Hollywood Hogan and Sting. Very surprising that DDP gets the win here. He probably deserves it at this point in time, I feel like, because, it's time that WCW puts the belt on somebody new. It's just surprising that he wins with Hogan in the match, because at this point in time, Hogan was very much about not giving up, losses. And, he had creative control, which obviously plays a big factor pretty much throughout the whole WCW history and kind of what maybe ruins WCW a little bit. But yeah, that was the card. Overall, the pay-per-view actually sounds really great. So maybe I'll go back and rewatch the full Spring Stampede 99 show. But as for Nash versus Goldberg, very disappointing, man. 1.5. Like I said, Nash controls the match for basically 90%, does a couple of cool moves, taunts the crowd a little bit, taunts Goldberg a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. It was, kind of a bad match, man. Not nearly as good as the last one. I still think Goldberg, shows flashes of being good in the ring, but this was not one of those instances. His match with Steiner that I did previously was way better. So yeah, I'm going 1.5 stars for Nash and Goldberg at Spring Stampede 99. And thanks for joining me. Attitude Fan checking out.